Hey everyone, welcome to Hope for Survival YouTube. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back and welcome to all of our new subscribers over the past month, 6 weeks. Appreciate you following. As I've said before, typically outside of Hurricane Helene, this is a preparedness site, and our goal is to teach individuals and families preparedness and how to build emergency plans in the event of some form of a disaster that may occur in your life or your community. And when Hurricane Helene, as titled, hit, it was very close to home. Here in East Tennessee and North Carolina, many of our Hope for Survival family live in these areas, and by nature and by faith and by my background, what I've been trained for most of my life, I felt the need to respond and also felt the calling to go and do whatever I could and contribute in some way to help the many thousands of responders who volunteered to go serve in some capacity. So that's kind of where we are right now. The disaster continues. The initial response phase is over. The rescue phase is pretty much over. And now we're in the recovery rebuild stage, and this is a long stage. And while much of the attention has shifted away to the presidential election and other things occurring around us, the disaster still looms for the thousands of people impacted in so many different communities in Tennessee, North Carolina, and other locations, Damascus, Virginia. For anyone that volunteered and went into these areas, I would encourage everyone to continue to do what you can to keep attention on this disaster in the coming weeks and months, because there's so many people who are still displaced. Some have remnants of homes, some lost homes. There are people in communities living in tents, and they are pretty much dependent on resources being donated and carried in for heat and shelter, food, because not only did they lose their homes, many of them lost their jobs. Their jobs went away through the devastation from the disaster. Many of them lost transportation. They can't get around and do the things that they not want to do, things they need to do. There's court hearings going on for property hearings of properties that have been condemned by the federal government, and it goes on and on and on, but that's not why I'm doing this video. This video is Hurricane Helene Update 11, new mission, Hampton, Virginia, and I went this morning, drove a couple hours over to spend some time with Ed, the family that we're working to help in Hampton, Tennessee, and I wanted to get that edited and posted up for your viewing. Support is still needed in resources, monetary, and contractors, retired contractors with carpentry skills. It's not just needed at Ed's place, it's needed in numerous homes. So give that some thought. So I'm going to roll into the video I took this morning and share it with you. So here we go. Okay, so I'm back here in Hampton, Tennessee, and I'm visiting Brother Ed. I wanted to catch up with him for a couple reasons. And it's a cold, rainy day, about 48 degrees, and the work continues. And you can actually, from 2 weeks ago, see progress around on the outside. But I got Brother Ed here with me again. Brother, thanks for taking time. And I have to say, when I got here, my heart was lifted because there was a pickup truck with a trailer hooked to it sitting in the front yard, and I could hear power tools going on the inside as I walked up to Ed's door. So, brother, how you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good.
Progress is going forward?
Going good. At this time, we're about done with the demolition that local churches has helped me with here in the past few weeks. This morning I got a phone call from Jeff coming here this morning. He's a contractor. I think he's from out of Virginia. He just showed up out of nowhere today, and
That's what it's about.
he's here to work, and he has already this morning helped me to the point where we've had electricity inspected. I've got my electricity back on. I still have to go through and do the plumbing in the house. I've had my house tested. I've had it sprayed. We're 1 day out from starting to put subfloors back in the house. And like I said, the first few things that I've got to do is get my heat and air system in. I've got to get it in. Winter's coming up. I've got to get the subfloors down, and then we can actually make more progress through the winter. Winter months is coming, and absolutely want to thank Brother Butch here for what he's done for me. He's and just come out of nowhere. I mean, he was sent here to me. Absolutely. I didn't know him, didn't know the contractor that come here till this morning.
Yep.
And he showed up, and he has worked non-stop since he's been here. And I actually have been in there helping him. I roll up my sleeves and go with him. I'm not going to let him do it for nothing, but absolutely from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate thank them for what they've done, but most of all, I want to give all the praise and glory to God, because I knew of none of them before this has happened, and He has sent people into my life not knowing them at all, and I want to give Him the glory.
Amen. Well, this is just a start. But here's 3 Lowe's gift cards for $2,500, and we have about another 1,000 committed, roughly 750 to 1,000 that I'm waiting to receive. And once, we'll get that to you quickly. And it's small for what the total is going to be, but behind the scenes, while folks are doing the inside, we're going to continue working to do as much as we can to help offset.
Absolutely.
And just look at it as a token of love.
Guys, for anybody that's give on this, to you, Butch, to Jeff, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. And it's going to go absolutely to a home that's full of love. I mean, even down to the Sunday dinners here, and the kids. You know, it's a home of love, and I just absolutely, despite what happened, I'm looking so forward to coming back to my home.
Amen.
And
well, as we were talking before we started recording this, one thing that that Ed and I have in common is neither one of us like to ask for help. And my wife constantly reminds me there's people around who care, who will lend a hand to help. And when you're kind of used to either doing it yourself or you're the one who's going down the street to help others, at some point, this disaster is a good example. Like I was telling you, I told my wife, it's like, I gotta go. I gotta go help. But there will come a time down the road, man, and you had shared with me a couple times before that typically you may be the one that runs down to the neighbor and goes in and helps get them out, or goes and lends a hand, or you lend your generator to a person in need.
In my opinion, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Your love for your neighbor, your love for the one you don't know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've
been a paramedic in my county now for the past 27 years. I've been part of our fire department, but I was always on the help end of the spectrum before it's tables turned on me to realize what it means for somebody to help you. And it's like Butch said, I've been self-sufficient my whole life, worked from the day I was from the age of 13, earlier than that if you count the tobacco fields and the gardening and stuff that I've done. But I'm just not used and really didn't know any of this existed, didn't know there was people to come in here and help me. And I had this burden on myself that I was going to have to come in and do all of it myself.
And work full time.
And work. I like I said, I work graveyard, and my wife works day shift, and it's hard for us to do anything. But praise the Lord for brother Butch, brother Jeff. They've helped me, and anybody out there that's helped me, I'm like I said, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you.
As vast and devastating as this disaster is all over Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia, and when you look at the devastation, it's almost incomprehensible. But when you see the love and kindness of so many people, and like we were talking earlier, so much of this is churches. The churches, minimal to no state, minimal to no federal government, and it's sitting about blasting them, but that could be another video. But it's the people from so many different states that are just showing up. 1 minute a stranger, and the next minute it's kind of like you've known them forever.
You're right, Jeff. Today showed up. And we've had a brotherhood in there and discussion, prayer, everything this morning, and it's been wonderful. Like I've known him my whole life.
And it's kind of like pre-disaster, the place where we were at as a nation, and so many people had so many questions about what was really out there, and this disaster hits, and seeing the outpouring of love from so many walks of life, but it's very encouraging. It's very encouraging to see the uplifting of Christians going door to door, community to community, being there for brothers and sisters, as we should be. But I cannot say that pre-disaster I could have ever imagined there being this many people coming out to give in so many ways.
First person to knock on my door when the water receded, I got trapped in the house, so I had to stay in the house when it happened. First person to knock on my door introduced herself as a Christian with the church, and the outpouring with them has been unbelievable. Other than my people, the Swiftwater people that I work with, they wanted to come in and get me out, and I deterred them. I didn't want them taking the chance. I was inside, and I knew the good Lord was going to take care of me. Of course, we talked a lot that night. Had some good discussions at the dinner table where I stayed that night. But first person to knock on my door when the water receded introduced herself as they're here as a Christian with the church, and what do I need? So,
I kind of had these thoughts back during the COVID era when we went through the lockdowns and so on. That, and kind of what you just said about being at the table.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes life is so busy, and we always have that thought, I'll get to that, and we don't take time to have one-on-one personal discussions and relationships with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to arrange that opportunity
Mm-hmm.
so that you can have it. Lockdowns went on, and families and leaders of homes were forced to be in that household with their family. And did they take advantage of it? Did they take advantage of establishing or building on that personal relationship with the Lord?
On their family. I mean, and I think a family that has a relationship with the Lord is blessed altogether.
Yeah.
And Butch, it's like I've told you, I have received so many blessings in my lifetime. If I never get another one, I have been fulfilled with my grandkids, my wife. She is absolutely just wonderful. She was a godsend to me. My daughter, and we are family. We are old school family. We are, like I said, Sunday dinner family, birthday family. This house has it's where we've done all that at, and it just breaks my heart. But 100%, it will be back. We'll be back in the birthdays, in the Sunday dinners, and we'll get it back.
Well, we're standing out here in the rain now, and before I close this, I know that we're doing what we can to help from the outside, but I just want to say to you that you've been a blessing to me as well.
Thank you.
We'll keep working for you, man.
Thank you.
Just when it's raining and cold like today, thank God for you and Jeff being in here, but we'll keep working to try to get more people
Thank you, Butch.
over here, man. All right?
Thank you.
And we'll keep praying for you. Love you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know you a month ago, but now you're family.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so when I showed up to Ed's place in Hampton this morning, I was thrilled to see a truck and trailer sitting in Ed's front yard. And again, the Lord delivered, because driving over here, I was a bit concerned, because just feeling the urge to try to expedite, to get things moving along, to get Ed's repairs completed, to get Ed and his family back in their house, but the work being done the right way. And I pulled in and I meet Jeff. And Jeff is from Lynchburg, Virginia, and Ed didn't know Jeff. And Jeff showed up here, and he's doing their work. Actually, are finishing part work on the floors. And Jeff was telling me their plan going forward. Jeff, good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too.
Appreciate you very much coming down from. Did you come down from Lynchburg or come up from Asheville? Because he's been working down there.
Down from Lynchburg. Actually across from Danville. I had to make a stop to pick up tools in Danville.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of Virginia, probably about 4.5 hours from here.
That's a little bit of a commute. So how did you find Ed?
Well, interesting. We attend a church called Calvary Chapel, Lynchburg. If you've seen the movie Jesus Revolution,
Yeah.
it was in the theaters about a year ago. That's about the founder, Chuck Smith, that founded our church. And we're non-denominational, and we don't really have a big organization set up for disaster. Every church is independently ran, but this storm had such catastrophic damage that many of the Calvary Chapels got together, the senior pastors, and wanted to put together a plan of how can we help people. And so my church sent me to Calvary Chapel in Asheville, North Carolina, where I've been for about a month. I thought it was going to be a week. You know how the Lord works. A week turned into a month. And helping them. And then while I'm in Asheville, one of my pastors makes a connection with Calvary Chapel Tri-City in Johnson City. Hey, we've got a guy over here. Actually, we didn't know about it at that point. We just knew there was a pastor down here in this subdivision that was doing work helping people rebuild, and Calvary Chapel Tri-City had gotten in touch with them. So I came up with another dear brother, Derek Buchanan, about a week ago. That's when we met Ed. God is pretty amazing.
Amen.
We didn't come here to meet Ed. We came here to just look at the damage and see if there was any way we could help. And the pastor said, you know, do you want to see a couple of the houses? I'm getting ready to go down and meet one of the homeowners. And I said, sure. And we came down, and Ed was here, and we had a chance to meet Ed and his wife, and found out there was a real need here for labor, for help in doing the carpentry and the rebuild, and you know, God took over. So here we are.
That's how I met Ed. I didn't come here with the intent of meeting Ed either.
God is the most amazing networker of people you will ever come in contact with.
Amen.
If you're open to serving Him, you're going to meet people out of the blue that are just the right person for you to meet at that time.
You just feel it. I was at the Shell station parking lot a quarter mile from here, sitting in the parking lot, waiting to meet someone to drop supplies off to.
Right.
And my wife kept messaging me. She kept saying, you need to go to Spring Street, which is this street.
Right.
And you need to look for A and you need to look for B. And I went over and I found A, and it was Jerry next door, who has this massive rebuild going on from churches that came together to help him. And lo and behold, Ed was standing there with Jerry, and a guy named Butch was standing there, and first thing Jerry said after he shook my hand was, this is my neighbor and friend Ed, and he needs help too. So that's when Ed and I became brothers and started walking over here and got to see his house and just felt that this is the place.
Yeah, you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And God's pretty amazing with stuff like that.
Yeah, especially when we hear and respond.
Yes.
You know, to do His work. So you were telling me kind of a plan going forth that you kind of see for the repairs here.
Well, the first things first chapter of my scope was anything that's going to take time to do, anything that's going to have a lead time on it, we need to take care of that very first thing. And that involves, the main thing is the HVAC. It's got to have a completely new HVAC system put in. We discussed that this morning.
Yeah.
I think he's getting a really good price from somebody that he trusts. I told him, you know, let's pull the trigger on this and see if we can get on his schedule and get him in here. Can he start tomorrow?
Yeah.
Which is the normal way a contractor would think. And also kitchen cabinets. That's going to be something that's going to have a little bit of lead time. It would hold us up if we don't get on that really quickly. So we're trying to get on that. And then plumbing and electrical, making sure everything works. One project Ed wants to do, which I agree with, is replacing all the supply lines with new PEX material.
Yeah.
The stuff that's in here is known to cause problems down the road. And so as we speak, we're praying about, you know, how can we get the plumbing done. Hopefully going to get a couple people in here that know what they're doing in the next few days and get their plumbing roughed in. And once we get all of that handled, then the easy part, putting down the new subfloor, insulating the walls, hanging the drywall, once we have the inspector's
Sure.
permission to do all of that. So that's kind of what we're looking at in the next few weeks.
Having been down around the Asheville area for a few weeks, and I don't know if you've been out in the area here, I'm just kind of curious, because this disaster is so massive in so many communities, I'm just wondering, in the supplies available to redo these homes, are you seeing any shortages, or are the supply lines drying up anything that's on back order?
Well, two things you've got to have. Let me back up. Three things. The first and foremost thing, you need Jesus Christ for all of this. He's the most important part of the whole process. But after him, the two things that you need is you need labor and you need money. There's no way getting around the money part.
Correct.
And in Asheville, in Swannanoa, where we've worked for the last few weeks, mucking out houses that were flooded almost up to the gutter board of the house, FEMA has came in and FEMA has awarded money to most of the people in that subdivision, but probably only given them about half or a little less than half of what it's going to cost to rebuild those houses. And with FEMA, it's not like a set amount. Some people get more than others, but generally speaking, they never award enough to do the whole project. Even with free Christian labor, it's still going to cost a lot more than what they're giving to the homeowners. So trying to raise that additional money to do that becomes a real challenge.
And time consuming.
Yes, and it's hard to do anything without the money. You can't get around the money. We've got to have a certain amount of money to rebuild the houses. Some people have flood insurance in the Swannanoa area. A lot of them do not. But that's another option that people have to find money to rebuild the homes. The other thing is just that, along with the cost of living increasing over the last several years, lumber prices and labor to perform, remodels of homes is doubled. So, a flooded house that you could have fixed for $40,000 or $50,000 pre-COVID, is now close to $100,000.
Yeah.
So finding the resources for that money, finding churches or organizations that are willing to donate money to do that is a really huge thing. And then the volunteers as well. I don't want to sell that short. If the homeowner has enough money to rebuild the home and hire a contractor to do it for them, then we think that they should do that. But as what's the case in a lot of situations, they may have half the money to buy the supplies, but they don't have the money to hire anybody. So the labor becomes a huge part then. Yeah. Christian organizations and Christian churches that can supply mission teams to come in. Some of it requires skilled labor, and then some of it doesn't require a lot of skilled labor. So in our organization, in New Day Ministries that I work out of with my wife, we only have two things that we require for you to come and help volunteer for us. One is that you want to share the gospel of Jesus Christ, and two, you want to help people less fortunate.
Yeah.
If you want to do those two things, there's probably something here at Ed's house for you to help us with.
Yeah. As long as one of them knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah, we need, we need contractors, we need retired contractors, we need people that have professional skills with plumbing, electrical, HVAC, carpentry, drywall labor. We need guys with professional skill in that, but we can also use people that just want to come and love on people and help.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of found that over in the last area before coming over here. Once the food and water started flowing and the medical side was kind of tended to, a lot of the folks, they wanted you to listen to them. So just sit and listen
Yep.
and hugs.
Yep.
Men and women both.
Yep.
They needed a lot of hugs and an assurance it's going to be okay.
Could be the most important thing you do as a volunteer missionary is listen.
Yep.
Maybe the most important thing you ever do.
Even if they tell you the same story every day, Monday through Friday, listen. Just listen and hear them.
It's,
you know.
I repeat this a lot because it really is true. And I don't know how this feels, but it's really hard to even fathom, to even try to understand that you go to bed one night and you wake up the next morning and everything you have is gone.
Gone.
Your house, your clothes, your furniture, sometimes your loved ones,
Yep.
your cars, everything you own is gone. And it's very traumatic. Some people have a hard time with it, and some people just can't even cope with it. So, listening, praying, and sharing Jesus really is the number one most important thing with trying to help somebody.
I think as we especially go into the colder months ahead, you know, down in the areas where you were at, down in North Carolina, and even over in Irwin, and I'm sure there's other communities, there's a lot of folks that are living in tents
Yes.
still. And it's going to get colder, but they're still going to need resources. They're going to need heat, they're going to need
Right.
food, but they're still going to need hugs. And they're still going to need, and with so many disasters, 30 days post-disaster, you know, the attention shifts to other things and other topics, but we have to do our best to ensure
Right.
we keep this story alive
Yes.
as long as we have people displaced.
Yes. There are two phases to disaster ministry. One is the early response. That's, you know, what we're kind of getting towards the end of now. You know, emergency stuff, water, clothing, somewhere to live, medical attention, all of that, mucking out the houses, cleaning out the mess. But then the second phase of the construction is the long-term recovery or the rebuild. And a lot of organizations, bless their heart, they do a great job with the first part, but getting involved in the long-term recovery is a really big deal. And so yes, it's very important that we don't forget that yes, the house is cleaned out, but the homeowner is still living with their cousin or having to rent an apartment on top of paying their mortgage.
Yeah.
And they're still waiting for help to actually get moved back into their house. So the long-term recovery, it's a totally different phase, but it's maybe the most important phase of getting the job finished.
And longer term.
And getting, yes, longer term.
You know, it's been impressive in the areas I've been to. It's been impressive. The bulk of the response has come from the churches.
Yep.
Whether it's the mobile kitchens coming in and doing hot meals for weeks at a time.
Right.
Everything's needed. It's all great. It fits into that initial rescue recovery phase, you know, but now in the rebuild phase, a lot of them have packed up and gone home.
Yep.
And we just got to keep trying to get the word out again. So the holidays are coming up.
Yep.
It's already rough for most people, you know.
And it's winter, which makes it even more difficult.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, man, I appreciate. I'm blessed to meet you, but I can't thank you enough for being here, doing this for the Lord and also for Ed and his family. I know he told me in the conversation in the garage that how much it's touched his heart and how appreciative he is. So thank you, man. Bless you.
It's my joy.
It is.
God has given me so much joy to have a chance to do this. I can't even describe it, that joy. I wish I could describe that to somebody. I could get them saved in 5 minutes. But that joy of serving the Lord and helping somebody else and knowing that God wants you to do this, I mean, it's overwhelming, and I'm full of gratitude.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful that I'm here.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Bless you, man.
Thank you.
It was great to arrive at Ed's and find the pickup truck and the trailer with the contractor here doing work. So repairs continue. This is the slow part, and that is finding volunteers and contractors to come in and do repairs. The house you see down below, that's Jerry's house. If you may have come across Jerry on some of the Helene reels. He's got a church organization and that's doing a total rebuild of his home, and the black vehicle you see sitting there was actually gifted to Jerry yesterday from a local car dealership. He lost his vehicle as well. So it's a cold, rainy day, but seeing progress is uplifting. Lots of work ahead. So as you can see, things are moving along, moving forward. At Ed's place, I didn't shoot a video of the inside of the house and the progress being made because there were power tools that were being used, and didn't want to interfere with the worker and the progress. But this morning was another answered prayer. It was a godsend. When I pulled in, well, driving over there, my heart was a little heavy because I have made efforts to try to find carpenters, retired carpenters, to go and possibly volunteer some time, and had not been successful to this point. I'm still trying. I pull into Ed's place, and park across the street, and there's a pickup truck pulling a long trailer, and the back end was open, and I walked up and met Ed, and met a new guy named Jeff, and Jeff, through a series of connections from Lynchburg, Virginia to Asheville, North Carolina to Johnson City through his church. Somehow he ended up on Ed's porch, and he was there to work. So I'm thankful to Jeff and his skills, and the fact that he ended up on Ed's porch. So progress is being made. Resources are being ordered and purchased to continue the work in the home. Moisture tests were conducted under the floor, and everything was a go. Everything's dried out, and so they're going to be putting a new floor in shortly, and replacing the PVC plumbing with PEX. And Ed had to go forward and buy a new HVAC unit, and for HVAC accessories and labor, it's going to cost him about $8,200 just for the HVAC. But winter's coming. It was a cool 48 and rainy there, so the temperatures are changing a bit, and it won't be long. It will be pretty cold, so getting the HVAC in and keeping everything warm as they go forward is an important step. So I wanted to, before I close, I wanted to read an email to you that was sent to me from a person who I do not know, had never met before. It's someone who watched the YouTube Hurricane Helene update YouTube story from Hampton and Ed's story. And this wonderful lady, I'm not going to give her name, but this wonderful lady from a location in Texas sent this email to me. My husband X and I want to give what small amount we can afford to assist in helping you repair Ed's home by spending $25 each on behalf of our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, total of 22, in lieu of Christmas gifts. That would come to $550. How would be the best way to get this to you? When I got this email, my heart was full of emotion to receive the fact that this lady took time to not just consider the choice they're making within their family, but that she watched the video and would reach out to me, a total stranger, with this offer. And this goes in line with so many volunteers who are just showing up in the disaster zones with skills and tools to do skills to help total strangers, whether they spend a day or they spend a week. Many are spending several weeks sleeping wherever they can find a place to sleep, bringing their own food and water. And it really renews faith in mankind. And most of these people are Christians. I need to tell you that. Most of them are Christians that are doing these deeds with no expectation of anything in return other than to help a fellow human and a fellow American. And prior to this disaster, you may recall, our nation was kind of in a depressed state, people-wise. You know, we have so many questions and problems in our country, and this disaster was just another rock weighing down the bag of problems. But seeing so many people come out from everywhere, college kids, mid-age seniors, pulling trailers, handmade quilts, hand-knitted toboggans and scarves, just people's hearts opening up to do something to contribute to try to help a stranger's life be better. And I wish you all could, if you can't be there, I wish you all could experience it, because words cannot describe the uplifting, as you probably witnessed in Ed's message. Ed is a super humble, very kind man who doesn't want any handouts from anyone. He's worked his entire life and he's provided for himself and his family. And he does his best, he and his wife, to instill and keep old family traditions ongoing that were taught to them at an early age. And it's a joy to spend time with Ed and hear him and telling me about his life and the things that that they try to do with their family, birthdays, holidays, time together. So, as I told Ed, we're trying to help Ed with love gifts But Ed's been a blessing to me equally. Just meeting him, and the more time I talk to him, this guy who was a total stranger to me a couple weeks ago, there's no doubt in my mind that I know that Ed and I could be close friends going forward. We think so much alike, and things that are important to us, the values that are important, morals, integrity, and things of that nature. So I want to close this out, but if you would like to contribute to help Ed and his family in repairs, you can email me at preparedness101, preparedness101 at protonmail.com, and in the header just put in the title of the email on Ed's repairs or something of that nature, so it doesn't get lost in the email collection. And I will get back to you and tell you where you can send a Lowe's card, or if you don't want to do a Lowe's card, you can make a check out to Hope for Survival, and I will deposit it and go buy the Lowe's card as well. So again, for all of you who have contributed, as Ed said to you, he thanks you from the bottom of his heart. I thank you from the bottom of my heart as well. Your kindness and generosity means a lot. We've had some pretty healthy donations come in, or have been messaged to me that I've yet to receive, but our sister and brother down in North Georgia, thank you immensely for your kindness to help Ed, and we all thank you. So till the next update, stay safe out there. The temperatures are getting colder. It won't be long till it'll be snowing and ice. Don't forget to do your own preparedness steps: food, water, shelter, security. And a disaster is not prejudice. It doesn't pick the color of your skin. It doesn't pick your socioeconomic status. It doesn't care. It just hits, and it could have been any of us as easily as it was the folks in North and South Carolina, Virginia, a remnant of Kentucky, I believe, and then the folks in Milton down in Florida as well. So take care. Don't forget to count your blessings, and most of all, don't forget to give thanks. Bravo Echo out.